Welcome back to another installment of our home Bible study series, the Select Stanzas from Psalm 119. In this section, we're going to be looking at verses 137 to 144. Each phrase here starts with the Hebrew letter Tzaddi, and you're going to see immediately that the psalmist focuses on the righteousness of God. He says, "Righteous art thou, O Lord." This focus of his mindset is strong, but it becomes challenging throughout the changing circumstances and the changing mindset of people throughout the world. Where he's helped is the reminder that God's faithfulness never ends. Just as he is righteous, so art his words also righteous. They're perfect. They stay faithful and truthful no matter the circumstances around him. He's come through some kind of circumstance in which he's frustrated that other people don't have the same passion that he does for God's word. His zeal had consumed him, as others were focused on everything else involving their own responsibilities. They seemed to lose passion, or had it never existed in the first place, for the righteousness of God. And there was some frustration with that. We can relate with this. All of us as people have become frustrated at some point when someone else is not quite as passionate about something that we're passionate about. We've desired to find some semblance of similarity with somebody, some comparison in similar hobbies or similar interests, or things that are even closer, convictions and beliefs. When this psalmist was unable to find that in other people, there's some frustration to be had. His reminder was helpful that God is still faithful. Even in the midst of everyone else that may not trust in his word, he can faithfully trust in God's word because it never changes. Trouble and anguish had taken hold on him, all the changing circumstances around him, as he may have tried to organize his life in the fashion that he desired so that he could worship God in the way that worked for him. That's not the kind of world that he lived in, nor is it the kind of world that we live in. Things degrade. We live in a fallen world. Things fall apart. You work on your own home. You may work on your yard. You may mow it, but eventually it's going to be mowed again. You may work on the inside of your home. A made bed eventually becomes unmade, needs to be made again. A vacuumed floor must be vacuumed again. We work on things, and then they seem to fall apart. I relate with this on some level with our 1-year-old daughter. It is a lot of fun seeing her play with her various toys in the living room. We'll repair the living room, we'll organize it, make everything in the place that it's supposed to be, and short moments later, it becomes the opposite of organization once again. Seems like we spend hours organizing everything, and that's okay. The world is the way that it is. It changes. Even when the change is something that we don't desire, it's simply the natural state of where we are. Where we can find comfort and peace is that God's word never changes. His righteousness doesn't change. It always remains the same. And so does his testimonies. Everything that he's asked us to do remains the same. So even though we may not be able to control the passions of others, even though trouble and anguish may hold on us with the various changes and challenges of this world, we can trust that God's righteousness remains the same. His desire for us to follow his commandments remains the same. This was a realization of the psalmist, and he's encouraged by the faithfulness of God's word. As you study this psalm together, as you study these verses together individually or with family and friends, I pray that you look at the faithfulness of God's word as well.